What's up, crypto fam? Welcome back to another R Bitcoin. As always, links will be in the description, and if you do enjoy this content, we upload 4 or 5 videos a week, so consider subscribing. I'm Bitcoin Jake09, and with that, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Number 10, we have guy who claims he invented Bitcoin loses 100 million in court. Gizmodo.com article there. So yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to see how that plays out in the next however long that takes. Number 9, what's going on? 38-year-old perspective. Is it still early? How long is this? Not terrible. I think different perspectives can help all of us. I'm very biased as I know Bitcoin. I recently went to a work get-together. Many people have not seen each other in 18 months. Work in finance, a superstar makes 350K. A lot of experienced people who are also very talented make between 140 and 160. The majority make 70 to 80K who tend to have under 5 years experience. A year ago, 3 people had bought Bitcoin. Only 2 had significant holdings. Today, 20% of the workforce now owns Bitcoin, and many are secretly buying. They are also buying very little relative to income. A guy who makes 5K a week has 12K, etc. It reminds me very much of the middle of the crazy run of 2017 at the 8K mark. There is only one person who has made a significant leap into Bitcoin and other crypto relative to net worth income. The biggest holders have taken on a lot more exposure than they wanted to initially. I see half of them starting to reduce their exposure. I don't want to turn this into a Bitcoin versus other assets. None are only holding Bitcoin, just stating what I am seeing. New arrivals are searching for low-cost alts. Brownie face. Directed towards men, money by itself will not make you happy nor get you the woman you want. And if a woman likes you because you have money, please run. Most people have an intrigue into what Bitcoin and other cryptos, but it is primarily driven by price. Most people have bought their first piece of real estate, then have bought Bitcoin. The people who have the most money, net worth of over 3 million, some of close to 10 million, have a large amount of coins they started buying last year. They generally have the same thinking. Bitcoin is gold on steroids. Whether I personally agree with it or not, the market is speaking. Not having Bitcoin is a bigger risk than owning Bitcoin. There's a lot of doubt, and a lot of people were counting on the end of the year fireworks, and they are losing their faith by the day. All this is being said, how about the typical person? It's important to point out that this is finance, so you would expect the average person to be informed more about this, wouldn't you? Well, the average person doesn't give a rat's ass about Bitcoin. They're in the complaining phase. Houses are expensive. Okay. Retirement stream, and Bitcoin is some stupid thing their cousin bought. There is more interest in Carnival Cruise Lines, Tesla options, and commercial real estate for the investors, and the typical person has zero interest. A few have some Doge coins, or I guess dog coins. It's early, painfully early. This reminds me of real estate in 2015. It was so expensive, they said. Right, yeah. So, interesting. Number 8, Bitcoin's hash rate returns to all-time highs. Wow, and to think, without China. That's pretty interesting. Why didn't that upvote? Number 7, Jack Dorsey's Spiral announces dev kit for Lightning Network. I still need to check that out. I haven't looked into that. Number 6, Charlie Munger, more comfortable with the Chinese Communist Party than Bitcoin? Forbes.com article there, and basically is the same as the title. Okay. Yeah, imagine thinking and trying to make more money when you're a decrepit 95-year-old with weeks left to live. And apparently he's 97. So, yeah. Alright, number 5. Yeah. What a better way to encourage Bitcoin adoption than to make it easy to implement and use. Lightning Developer Kit is a big step in this direction. Jack Dorsey and Spiral. Alright, so we got a little video here. What do we got? Got sound up, sounds up. Got sound over here.
financial system.
When did I know something was wrong with our financial system?
Yes.
How much time you got?
Who made this? This is hilarious.
Ow. LDK makes it easy for any developer in the world to build a wallet. Any group of people can now access Bitcoin.
Who made this? This is hilarious.
Without the developer having
This
to
is
think
by
about
Spiral?
all
Oh my
the
gosh.
complexities.
This is hilarious. They're doing a great job then.
We'll see more and more innovation, more and more wallets, and ultimately more and more people who are able to participate with Bitcoin.
That'll be $80.
Do you take Bitcoin?
Of course we take Bitcoin. Wow.
Right. Number 4, India says no to crypto ban, will permit local investing. adonfinance.com, India. Okay. All right. Number 3, I think I finally get it now. How long is this? Not that long. The fiat currency banking system is doomed to fail because most all new money is created as debt, only backed by a bank promise to pay it back. In other words, backed by nothing. Banks make money by lending, but banks don't actually lend money they have. Instead, they create it by writing it into borrowers' accounts. Whenever we take out a loan, we're led to believe that we're receiving money from someone else's deposits. The reality is that bank actually just wires you the amount it has promised to owe you. In the real world, the lender must have something to lend. If you need a hammer, my written promise to provide a hammer I don't have will be of no use. But in the magical world of money, a bank's written promise to provide you money it doesn't have is allowed to be passed off as money. 95 to 99% of money exists this way, as digits on bank accounts representing debt owed by the bank to you. Debt equals money. That's not even the worst part. This financial system is doomed to fail because the debt is perpetual. You see, banks only create the principal of the loan that they lend, not the interest. This means there will always be more debt than money. The money needed to pay back the interest accumulated on a loan doesn't exist. So the only way the interest can be paid back is by taking on even more debt, which just kicks that down the road. It's quite literally a scheme. Banks are parasites. They want more money than their even is money. I believe Bitcoin crypto can be the quickest path for the general public to ditch this system. Now, I'm not going to pretend that Bitcoin will solve everything, but it does solve a lot, and now I finally understand why it's better than fiat. For the first time ever in a very long time, we have currency that is not in control of any authority, a currency that can be sent between each other without a third party, a currency that does not require a private bank to issue. It's revolutionary, it has the power to change the game, but time will tell whether or not the people catch on. That's a really good post right there. I like that one. Number 2. Quit fucking around and provide cover fire for Bitcoin until it makes it out the door. Okay, not that long. What do we got then? One of my favorite charts of all time is the Papier mark versus gold. The Papier mark, also called paper mark or Weimar mark, was the Weimar Republic's fiat that hyperinflated and went to zero in the early 1920s. After World War I, Germany was forced to pay reparations for the war, but the reparations were denominated in gold, so predictably, nations that were owed money banned imports from Germany, and then central banks glued to manipulate gold. Meanwhile, the US continued loaning money to Germany to make its reparation payments to France and the UK, so that these two could service their war debts to the US. A very disgusting game. Anyways, this all set the wheels of the paper mark's hyperinflation in motion. What people don't realize, however, is that many of the people that bet against the paper mark, especially those with leverage, went broke before the paper mark did, even though they guessed the direction correctly, entering their trades as a favorable parabola was forming. How's that? Because the volatility was too extreme, the percentage change in gold's price versus the currency could move 100% or more in a single week. And it took years for hyperinflation to fully play out. And then we have this chart here. So you can see how it went like, how does it go off the chart? So you got, the red is the percentage change in gold price. So yeah, that's crazy. So playing leverage in either direction on Bitcoin is a fool's game unless it's part of a strategy involving derivatives, options, futures, where you can tape together delta neutral positions or hedge out crippling risk. Here's what you do. You go long Bitcoin and you shut up. Repeat. I agree with this. You don't ask what the exit strategy is. This is what shitcoiners ask as their altcoins, which are parasites hanging around waiting for Bitcoin's halving every 4 years to do anything. This is about the separation of money from state. In 13 years, when was the best time to sell Bitcoin? Never. Bitcoin is the exit strategy. All right, so that's another really good post. We got some really good posts today. Number 1, there's a guy who the Space Force and Defense Department are paying $250K a year to go to MIT to study Bitcoin for them, to see how they could use its ledger in the same way they use GPS to store and track accurate, immutable information. He just got permission to go public with his work. All right, so he's been talking about it for months on Twitter Spaces. Just look up Jason P. Lowry on Twitter to find his account. When looking up his background information, everything looks legit. This is probably what Biden's advisor meant when he said that his administration was mining Bitcoin, because from what I've heard this kid say in those Twitter Spaces, the stuff he's trying to do for them would involve mining and much more. His plan is to make Bitcoin the GPS and atomic clock of digital information, a solid, accurate ledger to store important information away from things like internet rot or wiki edits. For those who don't know, our current internet is rotting away. When you search on Google, it claims to have billions of results for any subject, but when you search through those subject results and actually dig through the pages, you only get on average around 350 to 470 links. The other billions, they've been lost to the internet rot. The result of links being lost or destroyed from things like servers going offline, losing the data of billions of results per search, the loss of things you used to be able to find online but can no longer locate. That's actually happened to me before. This apparently is a problem for the government, as a lot of those lost links were links used in actual court cases, leading to digital evidence being lost that in some cases have been used to set legal precedents. There's a lot more to what's he's doing for the military via the usage of Bitcoin's immutable ledger, but this is what I can remember off the top of my head. Hopefully he can set up an AMA with the mods one day. I bet this community would be very interested in hearing what he has to say in regards of what he's doing with using Bitcoin's immutable blockchain on the most powerful computing network on Earth for the Space Force and the Defense Department's needs. Wow, so that's a really interesting article also. Crazy stuff today. And that's it for our Bitcoin Top 10 past 24 hours. As always, everything is down below. Peace, love, and hodl.